Business Tips for Women. I'm Katie Sevenance, and my guest today is Liz Kettle. I can't wait to tell you about her. But first, let me tell you just a little bit about what Business by Design Online is. It's an entrepreneurial educational hub for women to start, grow, and support you in your business. So we decided Tip Tuesday is a great way to just throw out some great tips by other women in business that'll help you get going, help you get set up in your business no matter what stage you're at. So today I have a really awesome guest, Liz Kettle, who is, and I've got my sheet so I can remember, the owner of Textile Evolution, creator of Stitch Meditation, which I cannot wait to hear about because I've heard other people talking about how awesome it is. The founder of Textile West, which, oh my gosh, thank you for donating all that fabric for us to make masks for the first responders. Absolutely. That was awesome. Author of 5 books. You've been teaching for over 16 years, both internationally and here in the US. And I cannot wait for you to meet my friend Liz. So Liz, thank you so much for doing this with us, our first ever Tip Tuesday.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you and honored to be your first Tip Tuesday. Hope I can share some really great stuff with everybody.
Well, I think you will. And I think it's awesome because you really, everybody's stressing about how to stay in this work from home phase right now. And what you do helps, excuse me, helps us get that creative side going too, right?
Yeah,
tell us
absolutely.
a little bit about yourself, what makes you like superstar right now, and tell us a little bit about your business, how it came to be.
So I actually have 2 businesses. We were talking about that just a minute ago. You know, running 2 businesses is kind of complicated. There's no downtime. People are like, "Oh, I'm so bored at home." I'm like, "Yeah, no, that doesn't happen." And I've tried to, really think about getting rid of one. Like, what can I do? But I feel like they're both life-changing businesses and really needed, especially in this time where as a culture, we've gotten disconnected from our right brains. We don't honor them. We don't, that's kind of my passion is I love neuroplasticity and understanding the brain. And my trip through all this, my 2 businesses has been really a fascinating view of looking at left brain, right brain, because I was trying, even as an artist and a creative writer, I was in my left brain trying to follow the path that other people had gone before me instead of listening to my own self and having that confidence to listen to my own intuition. And that's what your right brain is. It's all the stuff that's out there that you don't know. It just doesn't have a voice. So the way we get to it is through art, through making, creativity. And like my first tip here is find your why. Because it wasn't until I really found my why, like I said, I was following the path that other people had done. I was looking for people I could, kind of grab and duplicate to see how they became successful in the industry, in the creative textile industry. And it wasn't really working for me because it didn't feed my why. And once I figured out my why, so many decisions became much easier. I actually, because when I found my why, I left that industry because it wasn't feeding it. Yeah. So, and my why is bringing making back into people's lives. We've separated, we grew up as humans. I'm talking about humans, not us personally. We grew up making and creating every single day. We are creators. That is what it is to be human, is to be a creator. And we've kind of lost that. We let everybody else create our things, and hopefully we're creating businesses and ideas, but we're not always. And I think that's what a lot of the unhappiness in the world is, that we're not connected with that creative aspect of being human. So my why, my big why, is to bring creativity and making back into everybody's everyday life. So it's a matter of just part of who you are every day.
I love that. I love that. So finding your why and then being able to dig down and get clear on it helps you make decisions right?
Absolutely.
You can say
Absolutely.
no to a lot more things when you're doing it for yourself and not for someone else too.
Yeah, it's so much easier. It's like, you want me to do what? Why does that, how does that feed my why? And it just, so you see so easily what doesn't fit. And it helps you to really sit back and take a moment to really think about why you're doing what you're doing. I think that's,
I think that's really important, because I do that a lot in my business, and I guide a lot of women into, you have to find that first so that you can go beyond that and get clear. And then those decisions around you, that's just stuff out there. You know where you're going. You have that path. And even though we might be sidetracked a little right now, we still know where we're going, and we know why, what's really burning desire in our heart. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And part
that's
of
great.
This time where we're all at home, it's a chance to really kind of take that time to figure out why you do what you do, what drives you, and is what you do connected to your why?
Yeah.
Because it could be totally disconnected. I mean, mine was tangentially connected, but it wasn't really connected, because the industry I was in was all about buying, selling. It was because I was in the retail side. And the wholesale side, and writing books, and getting people to buy more stuff. And that didn't really resonate with my why, just to get people making, because then you run into, well, I don't have all that stuff. I can't make because I can't do this. I don't have money to buy that stuff. So like my last book, I gave it away free. Wow. So everybody can get my book for free. You can go to my website later, I'll tell you. So you just sign up and my book gets downloaded free, because I couldn't be in that industry anymore.
Wow. Yeah. Once you get really clear.
Yeah.
I love that.
Makes decisions so much easier.
Oh my gosh. No kidding. So what would a second tip be for women in business today?
So this is kind of related to finding your why, is to define success for yourself. Like I said before, I was kind of following the path that other people had done to be successful, but what money and fame didn't mean success for me. That just was like, it's like, oh great, yeah, I made some money, yay, but it didn't really fill my soul. So I had to redefine what success was for me. And that's really hard these days, because we're so monetarily driven, and so driven towards being somebody famous, or I can't really think of the words I want to say, but the community I was in was driven by that, by money and being the name. You had your thread line, and you had your fabric line, and you had your books, and you had this and that. And it just is like, why? It just seemed too much. It's like that just didn't really jive with who I am. So for me, I had to really define what success was for me. And for me, success is about leaving a legacy. It's about leaving the world a better place and set up to be a better place. It's changing the way we think about textiles, and we think about making, and we think about art, to have this bigger impact in the world. And that's where Textiles West was born.
I see. So tell me a little, Textiles West what exactly is it? Okay.
Textiles West, and a lot of people like, what are textiles? So we are surrounded by textiles from the moment we're born till the moment we die. It's around us everywhere.
I'm a touchy-feely person.
Yeah. It's our clothes. It's the towels in our house, their sheets, our carpet, our car seats. We're just surrounded by textiles. It's everywhere, but we don't think about it at all. It's just there. And our mission is twofold. One is to, technically threefold, keep the skills and traditions alive, which we've seen during this COVID crisis. Boy, everybody wants to learn how to sew now. I'm like, we got classes. We teach you.
I'll tell you, I learned to sew when I was 7. So I brought out the sewing machine, and I've been busy ever since.
Yeah. It's a basic life skill.
Yeah.
And it teaches a lot more than just how to create, piece two things together, or how to mend. It's a lot about pattern and pattern recognition and 3D modeling and 3D thinking. There's so much more to it when you really look at what people are learning when they're learning how to sew. And the second is to have that conversation about the massive impact of the textile production and waste. We throw away so much. I drove by, somebody threw out a rug in their trash this morning. It was a big rug.
Wow.
It's like, you could do something else with that. Instead of buying a plastic kneeler for the garden, cut the rug up and use pieces of it. Just instead of, we've become such a throwaway society. Rethinking what you throw away. And especially if that rug is polyester, it'll be 500 years before it degrades. Right. And it's not biodegradable. It just becomes smaller particles of polyester. So I don't want to get too far on that tangent. I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate because
that's
polyester
really
never goes away.
So many people, we probably don't think about that. So I think that's good. Is that where your stitch meditation came from? Is educating people on textiles, or how did that come to be?
It actually came about because I was very sick a few years ago. I had years and years of unmitigated stress. I mean, it was 24/7 stress. I had sick kids, and then I got very sick, and so my doctor was like, "Hey, you gotta figure out how to deal with that stress." Oh. So for quite a few years, I tried meditation, and I just could never get traditional meditation to work. It just never clicked with me. And one day I read this great book. I think it was in Red Hot and Holy, and it talked about how meditation, the way we're taught, is an Eastern male construct. And so as a Western woman, it's not surprising I couldn't connect, that I couldn't do it. It just doesn't resonate with our life or the way we are in the world. So I started thinking about what else I could do. And so I kind of came up with this idea. It was a little over 6 years ago, to combine hand stitching with art that actually has no purpose, if that makes sense. Because it's not about making the art. I'm not making a piece of art. I end up with a lot of them are art pieces at the end, and I sell them. But it's the process, it's the journey. And it's having it small so that you can do it every single day. There's no rules other than keep it small, and you can't take a stitch out, because it's about getting out of your love and your perfection, and then just having the rhythm of the stitch be what guides you. And it's like a walking meditation, but with your hands.
I love that, because I know so many people, myself included, with different subjects. It's like, I can't do it until I do it right. But that would be something you just let it go, let it flow, and just go. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
And there are places in our life for perfection, but not
all the time. We got to get that other side going, right?
Right.
I love that. I love that you can help people, guide people in that way, and help us open our mind.
Yeah.
We'll have to be just like this. So that's cool.
Yeah. It's
awesome.
About remembering it's the journey.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's great. And I say that too, like, yes, you have your goal, but it's getting there. Enjoy the process too. And so I think that's good. You're
not having fun.
Well, fun has to be part of it.
It has to be fun.
Definitely. I think that's on there.
Yeah.
All right. How about your last tip for us? Top 3 tips. What would your last tip be for women?
My last tip, well, it's kind of related to what we were just talking about. It's self-care. Okay. Because no one can take care of you like you can take care of you. I mean, people can bring you things and treat you nice, but the only person who can really take care of your psyche is you. And we have to have that self-care. That's what I learned when I was so sick with, before I started getting better. I had this just massive immune problems. And it was all because I wasn't taking care of myself. I was being noble and taking care of everybody else. But we have to take care of ourselves first. Nobody else can do this. If you want to do something in your business, you have to be out of being busy. We can get, especially like Katie, you and I are both running 2 businesses. So there's always work to be done. It's never like, hey, it's Friday. Time to turn off the computer. Work's done. That doesn't happen.
Early on Fridays usually, but
but you're probably working on Saturday and Sunday.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. So we can get so caught up in being busy that we don't take time to take care of ourselves and just to sit. Like, instead of sitting with your morning coffee and reading the paper or checking email, just sit, just look out the window.
Listen to the birds.
Listen to the birds. Just kind of really give yourself that time. And it doesn't have to be long. My stitch meditation practice is no more than 30 minutes. Unless I'm on vacation, I'm like, I could stitch all day just because it's fun. But we don't have to spend a lot of time at it. But boy, does a morning routine just sets the tone for the whole day and makes it so much. It just makes everything better when you start the day off in quiet and self-reflection instead of just getting right on to whatever social media or email or everything.
Sometimes I think we put so much pressure on us, all the things that have to get done for the day, that you just want to start in. But you're saying just take a few minutes, just quiet time, not to sit out and do your notes, but
just being. We are human beings, not doing.
That.
So, and then because when I take the time to do that, it helps me remember my why. My why is what drives everything, and it's part of why I'm driven to do two businesses and why I make sure it's all fun, because my why is important. But when I don't, if I'll go like 3 days without doing my morning stitch meditation, I'm a mess. I'm scattered. I can't keep focus. I keep like putting out fires instead of really staying centered.
That's good. So, yeah. I think that's important. I know we have a message here. Phoenix says, I love my stitch meditations.
Oh yeah. I turned her on to them.
That's good. I remember she's mentioned that before, that she's doing some creative things. So I think that's awesome. Yeah. Well, Liz, if people want to follow up with you and connect with you and maybe learn a little more about your stitch meditation or about getting your book for free, where can they reach you?
My website, textileevolution.com.
Awesome.
Or you can, just Google Liz Kettle free book. You'll find that. And I have a whole bunch of videos on YouTube. And my website has a lot of free content. I have, because I've been producing content for so many years, there's lots of tutorials and how-tos and videos.
Oh, that's
and all
great.
Stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. Plus, there's online classes you can take too. You can pay me to do stuff, and I have some meditation kits.
Money's not all the way out of the picture.
right. But there is a bunch of free stuff too.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today. I will make sure I put your website in the link or in the comments after the video. And thank you so much for sharing with other women in business. We really appreciate you and what you do.
Thank you so much, Katie. It was great.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.